Labeling. So what we call hops, it depends on how low you go. When we hop side to side, so this is a different hop. This is what we call a line hop, and I want to differentiate that now before we start. It's not in the first sequence. This would be line hops, right? Side to side line hops, and then we have forward and forward line hops, right? This would be a side to side. What would you call this? We have a lateral squat jump, and that's a lateral squat jump, and then we have a lateral squat hop, right? On a hop, I'm normally never fully extended. That's the biggest difference. There's a hop, I'm kind of like here and I don't get into full triple extension. I'm still trying to get pretty high. So if you see somebody kind of doing this, that's not really a hop. You're trying to sink your hips in and you're trying to almost to fully come out in a triple extension, but you're still slightly bent in all joints. Right? So that's the main difference that we think about. Okay? Going into that, an assisted rack hop. Double-legged. How would we do that? Do you remember that?
Just come here,
Yep.
assist with the rack.
Yep.
Same thing.
Are you in lower body power? Hold on, sorry.
No, I'm getting there right now.
Okay, you're good, you're good.
You're good. Sorry.
But the same thing.
Yes,
So-
and I even would get your chest a little bit higher. So the way I would do it is, you see where your hands are at right now, in front of your chest? That's where I would put their hands. That way it's gonna help you get a little bit higher. If you start their hands really low, you have the wrong one?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm good.
If you start their hands here, when I get to extension, I'm not gonna be able to, you see what I'm saying? I'm already facing down because my hands start here. So I like them to start with their hands in front of them, in their chest. That way I'm getting almost fully extended.
Keep their hands there the whole time. Don't trace down with the...
I mean, you can, that's a progression.
Okay.
For sure, that's the way,
right.
I would always teach it this way.
Okay.
And then slowly start weaning them off. And then slowly you can wean them off this way, right? So you can go here, boom, then here, right? But honestly, for me, I prefer this. It's always way more stable, double-legged. So it's the same thing. I'm starting with my chest position right here, and I'm fully extended. I feel more comfortable when a wide base of support, right? Than single base of support. I can't put pressure on both my arms the same. Does anybody have questions on doubles?
I was going to say, when it says assisted rack, do we automatically assume it's one pull, or do we just go whatever we want?
Whatever you want. It's up to you.
Okay.
Whatever works. If you find one works better than the other, that's when you write in a note for the next coach to like find out, right?
Do like assisted in middle of rack.
Yes.
Okay.
What I found from experience is just everybody, or some people don't like to touch two, so they have one. But for the most part, a wider base of support is easier. A narrower base of support is a little bit harder. You have to have a little bit more concept of coordination, right? A progression of that would be to keep your heels off the ground, right? If we keep our heels off the ground, it's gonna be harder landing. And what also do you not wanna hear? You don't wanna hear a thud, a hard thud, right? So it's almost soft, right? And the way I say it, it's like, I want you to land like a ninja, right? I don't wanna hear almost any landing going down and up. That's gonna be soft joints, correct? Anything else we can coach up on that?
Feet, or just the same thing?
Yeah? I mean, how wide do you wanna go, I guess? Like, what would be too wide?
Light, but wide.
Oh, sorry, you said light on your feet.
Yeah.
Yes. But wide, let's say if you go this wide, it's too wide.
Yeah.
If you go this narrow, it's too narrow. So we want to be somewhere between hip, shoulder. That's what I think.
Wherever they're comfortable. My big thing is when they're landing, you want their knees
Yes.
more biased on the outside
Exactly.
of that versus the inside.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So not caving in, caving out, right? The way, if you ever guys, I had this problem with Carol yesterday. If you guys ever do a banded knee squat, you're gonna bow out your knees going in. So I always focus on, I want your feet to be narrower than your knees are. A lot of people, when they put the band now to compensate, they'll go like this. So they're gonna be kind of like this because they can't pull the band. No. The opposite. You're gonna make your knees go out and bow out your legs, right? Same thing with a squat jump or with assisted hops. Okay, so then we got assisted rack hops alternating, right? What does that look like here?
It is.
So you're stern supported. Yep. Oh, not double. No, at this point, you're gonna be.
So it would just be here.
Exactly.
Side to side.
Yep. And we do this almost always before. If you have somebody in a single leg hop, you can regress them to alternating, because there's gonna be a lot of weight on that foot, right?
6 in a row, go all
Exactly. If you want to, but at the same time, it depends what your goal is here. If it's too hard, then I can alternate. If it's just awkward, then stay in the same side until you get it, right? What are we coaching on here?
I would say same thing, line on the feet, trying not to put your heels down. And then,
But if you see somebody staying heels down in the beginning, let's say it's Carol, I'm gonna leave her. I'm not gonna focus on that right now.
yeah.
Right?
As long as everything else looks good.
Exactly. What else? Anything else?
No, I would just say let the. I feel like most people with single leg movements and like with RDLs, like any type of, they always like focus on this leg, like the leg that's in the air. So I'd say just let it relax.
Yeah, exactly. Relax, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else, Pat?
I'm spacing on who it was yesterday. You saw me dealing with them, but doing that, I would be worried about when they land, they just get like extra rotation. There's
So what would?
too much laxicity in that joint where
Yes.
they let that movement.
Sean, yes.
Let their weight carry them over like this
Yeah.
way versus like that other way. Like
Right.
so like a shift, whether it's
So stop
a
it.
shift or even a rotation.
Exactly. And what happens most is what do we find out he was doing? Do you remember?
Oh, he wasn't bracing with both.
With both hands, right? So a lot of people, and that's
He was
why.
here, but he was like only holding on with like this one.
That's why I'm adamant that if it's a double leg exercise or an alternating exercise, both hands have to be on,
Yeah.
right? So if you're here, I can brace with both hands. If I'm only here, I'm gonna twist towards one way a lot more because I don't have a second brace. And that's why I always like, for an alternating thing, I always like it here better. I can put more pressure into it. I wanna keep my chest. The good way to think about it in shapes, your chest is gonna stay the same level as your shins. That's the way I think about it, right? So they're both moving at the same time. So at the bottom of position, I should be in this angle and I should be with the same angle as my shins. So it shouldn't look like this. It shouldn't look vertical and horizontal. We want to be the same diagonal angle. So that's what I always look at from the side is, am I doing this? Because that's not being the same angle, right? I want to stay here, right? And the same thing for alternating, right? Good. Let's go into single-legged. So what's the difference? Just one leg and you're landing, getting lower. Your goal is, hey, somebody starts here, that's fine, it's as low as I can go, but what I'm gonna do, Blair, go ahead and come over here. Let's get on one foot and just stay at the bottom right there. Let's go a little higher. So what I'm gonna do is, let's say they're not landing low and they're not understanding how to land low. Hey, I'm gonna have you try to get a little lower on your hip. There you go, lower. Do you feel how low that is? Don't lower down your hands though. You're gonna keep it the same height as you were before. Now try to push off on that and land in the same spot. There you go. That's gonna load up her hip. I need them to, we have to get already at that point on a double hop before we go single hop.
We gotta get that low on.
Yeah, ideally we get that low. So if you need to regress it to a double leg hop, try that in the first set and then go back to single leg hops in the second set and see how it feels. But the goal of hopping is to load up your hips and joints as much as you can to be able to tolerate all that in the joints, right? Nothing changes, everything else the same. Shin and chest angle are gonna be, this torso angle are gonna be the same, right? So they move up and down, up and down. Then we got skipping. How do we teach somebody how to skip? Anybody have any ideas? No? That's okay. Let's go over it. So I teach everybody standing in one place. I either do it on the wall, I do it in one rack or both. The way I do it is like, hey, let's take one leg on top, okay? You're gonna step down that leg, and as soon as that leg steps down, the other one comes up. But you're gonna do a double tap every time, right? So you're gonna go, boom, boom. Double tap every time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So as soon as that leg lands, you're gonna slightly hop again on it. Land, hop again on it. Land, hop again on it. Land, hop again on it. You wanna see that done like that first before you start letting them go off hands, right? There you go, exactly. So land one leg and then hop on the same leg. Yep, land one leg, hop on the same leg. Yep.
Why does it feel weird?
Because you're used to doing traveling. Yep, exactly. That's the same idea, but you gotta reteach that. You always gotta think about that we're too advanced. Like all of us are at a such higher level. It's kind of like a professor in quantum dynamics. Like they're fucking thinking in another world that we are. And when people are getting here, they're thinking in a much lesser word. So how do we regress that to their level, right? So I always have to break down everything to the max as much as I can, right? So you have one leg up, one leg down. I always start in this position, right? You're gonna step down with your left leg. You're gonna pick up your right leg and then hop again with that same leg you stepped down on. And then switch, right? Switch, and then switch, switch, and then switch. Step hop, step hop, step hop.
Slow it down.
Yeah, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, or however you want to do it. Step hop, step hop. From there, we start doing traveling. So if I'm like Bob, what I would do, hey Bob, come over here. I'm gonna have you do the same thing, but now we're gonna travel. You're gonna hold on to my hand. We're gonna go that way. You're gonna hold on to my hand. I'm always going to be next to them. Or if I had a clear wall, I would use a wall. We just don't have any clear walls, right? But if I had a clear wall, I would be having him try to travel while holding onto the wall. But if I'm teaching Bob how to do the first time of a new program, or I'm not used to having Bob, and it's my first time, hang on to my hand, Bob, let's go ahead and do the same thing on the wall, but now we're going to move forward. So you're going to do a step and a hop, a step and a hop, and Bob's not going to look this nice, right? But that's how it's going to try and be. But what do I want to do? I want to make sure he feels safe and confident that I'm there to take him.
Right.
If not, if I don't have the time of day, and I have somebody, hey, let's go step, hop, step, hop. We're going to keep that hand on the wall. When you get to the end, we're going to try it again backwards, the other way, right? Once we feel good, we do step, hops, and then we do it backwards too. Step, hop, right? And then we can go into an A skips, lateral, and everything like that, but we don't have to yet. Okay, so then we have assisted rack hop, single leg, side to side, right? Assisted rack hop, single leg, side to side. So we're gonna be here on one leg. All I'm gonna do is same thing. I'm gonna set up my chest, my hands are at my chest level. I'm gonna take one leg and I'm gonna bounce single legged, side to side, on the right of the first one. Right? Yeah. So I'm gonna be single legged, but this time I'm going side to side. So this one takes a little bit more coordination. All right, the only thing you're doing is bouncing side to side. What you don't want to do, if there's somebody like Carol, she has a left knee pain, you don't want her to land awkward. So I allow it to start way higher, get more comfortable. And the second and third set, I start having them go lower, but you might not even get there in the second set. It might be like 3 weeks before you can get her lower. Honestly, I'm probably not going to do this with Carol, right? This is probably going to be too much for Carol. So this exercise I am going to skip with her. All right, skipping, assisted in rack, skipping in place, skipping traveling. Once you have this lined up, skipping power, going for height. You're going for height. If it says height, you go for height. If it says distance, it depends on how much room you have. So nowadays, like, you really got to go for height. We used to go for distance, but we can't really anymore. So I would just go for height, if anything, if you have one to choose from. Anybody, any questions on skipping? We're good? Let's try a TRX assisted squat jump. So there's 2 ways to do this. It just depends on where you're at with the client. I think one was a regressed version, the other one's more of a progressed version. The regressed version, you're not loading your knees, right? So you're going that way. You're really like not loading your knees. The progressed version, you're gonna use this just in case instead of a rack, basically, right? So you're just deloading your arms more. In the progressed version, you're more vertical. In the regressed version, you're more horizontal. But what I might also do is, hey, I did it kind of like a diagonal, right? I would call this like a diagonal TRX squat jump, because you're jumping really diagonal. This is more like I did it as TRX supported squat jump, right? I just supported myself being in the same position, but it's a little bit more dynamic than a rack because my hands are also moving a little bit. Right. So I'm depending on a little bit less. Nothing changes, right? I still want to have the same shin angle with my torso and my shin. That's my goal in the assisted version, right? In this version, I'm going to be a lot more deloaded. I guess technically, you're still pretty close with the same angle, but yes, but one of the things I always look at from the side is every angle that the body's in and the shape the body's in, and I want to see if it lines up with what I think that person could hit, right? Side shuffle, arms at chest. So I first would teach a side shuffle. Hey, let's get a step and then push and then pull with the front leg, push with the back leg. Pull with the front leg, push with the back leg, right? Same thing this way, huh?
Are you trying to keep the shoulders? Are you okay with?
I mean, it depends. If having trouble with the legs and shoulders, I'll focus on the legs first. Then I'll deal with the shoulders. But once I do that, that's why it's arms at chest. So I'm here. I'm here, right? I don't want to worry about the arms.
Your arms are here, but you see them doing that.
Yeah, then I would focus on it, but if their steps are right, I would focus on that. Otherwise, I would focus on their steps first. And then we have side arm. Does anybody kind of have any ideas on how to coach a side shuffle? Outside of what you would just try to do, hey, take a step and push away. What's up?
Let your back leg fall. Yeah, click your heels.
Yep, exactly. And sometimes you're not gonna, when in a more advanced version, your heels are probably not gonna touch. Right? Exactly. But it's a good first step, but we have to differentiate that because people take whatever we teach them and go into the advanced version with it. So I mean, it's gonna hit my heels really hard if I try to click my heels once I start going for power, right? So you wanna be able to progress them to that, but if you need that to teach, that's perfect, right? Then we have, so the first one's at chest, and then the next one is an arm swing. So you start swinging your arms. Every step, swing your arms. Every step, you swing your arms. Same thing coming back, right? So it's a little bit more coordination. That's where we try to break the coordination away. Start dealing with the legs only, and then add the arms when they're ready, right? So if it says, it's most likely just gonna say side shuffle. Just know that this is the way you would break it down. Start with hands or legs only. If they got that, on the second set, I would try arms. If not, wait till the next time they come back, right? Side shuffle, low arms at chest. At this point, we're just getting lower with my legs, right? That's it, I'm just getting lower with my hips.
High was just this.
High, yeah, I'm just relaxed. I'm just relaxed, but I'm still swinging my arms, right? So a little bit more coordination once again. You're still in a half squat kind of at this point. Oh, my bad. Side shuffle, low arms at chest would be this. You're staying in a half squat, and you're still shuffling. I'm trying to teach him that depth, and then I'm gonna do side shuffle, low arms, and low hips, right? Questions on that? No? All right, so then we got a karaoke or grapevine. It's called two different things. That one is the same thing. You gotta teach it like a skipping. Hey, I'm starting with both feet. I'm gonna take my back leg, pull it over. I'm gonna take a side step with my front leg, take my back leg, pull it back. Don't worry about the hips right now, right? I'm just gonna try to get this movement. This is technically a grapevine. You don't have to move your hips in the grapevine. That's a dance move. In a karaoke, it's more sports related, is what I mean.
You drive the knee up and over or no?
Oh yeah, eventually, that's the goal. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So I'm just trying to teach them the movement.
Yeah, right.
Eventually, okay, so now let's try to do it a little bit faster. A little bit faster. Even if I'm not moving my hips, I'm trying to do it a little bit faster. I don't even worry about my arms. I'm gonna keep my arms here just to see if I can do it. It's gonna make it actually harder to keep the arms closer because I can't rotate as much, right? Eventually, when you're ready, hey, now I see you're doing great. Let's try to swing the hips. You don't have to worry about your arms. Keep your arms relaxed, right? Swing your hips over, swing your hips under. Over, under, right? And then eventually, okay, now we're gonna counter rotate. So wherever your hips are going, counter rotate your shoulders the opposite way. So if I'm going this with my hips, my shoulders come back this way and then switch. Switch, switch, right? But you have to be able to break it down, right? So hands at chest usually is easier because they have to work on the legs. Hey, over, under. And some people are gonna stay only here. They're never gonna progress out of that. But guess what? That's better than when they were before, right? Speeding up as they get more comfortable. From there, we're gonna do squat jumps from the bench. So basically, let's say this is my bench. I'm gonna be sitting here. I'm gonna start finally teaching them how to load their legs being without help, right? So I'm here, I'm gonna push forward and back. I have to get my chest forward. Some people just jump straight up and they fall back into it. I have to get that angle, right? Think about the angle of the shin and the chest. I'm gonna lean forward and land softly and then try again, right? The lower that bench is, the harder it's gonna be, right? Nothing much except try not to make them jam their lower back when they're landing, right? You don't want to punch the bench. You want to land softly if they can.
Not too much rocking.
Yeah, not too much rocking if you can.
Don't use momentum.
Eventually, that's the goal. You can start with momentum if you need to teach it,
Okay.
and eventually the goal will be, you see what I'm saying? Every exercise has like a progression and regression within itself. Just got to know what that looks like, right? And the hardest thing, honestly, for you guys, for all of us is, I don't know if this is the third or fourth week, meaning like, I don't know how that person feels, if it's the same exercise. So I'm probably gonna have him start the first set with the first couple of reps. I'm gonna say, hey, go ahead and let's do a squat jump. I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna see how they do it. If they feel pretty confident, I can see the body language is pretty good, I'm immediately gonna progress. Okay, now let's lean forward and try to keep your hips off, right? Now you're good. Questions on that? Okay, so band assisted squat jumps. So Patrick does it a little bit different way. I think, Claire, you might have done it the same way when you started. Pat did it this way, and I never thought about this. He does it this way. Did you do this way? No, okay. So this makes a lot of sense because it's way easier to put up. If you bring this down, it's gonna help you a lot more than the orange band would, right?
The big thing with like today with Perrin, like I unloaded him to that. Like more help because of just his landing mechanics with his knee on like his right side.
The only thing with this is it won't let you go as low, right? So if you want to go low, what we've always done, and we're gonna have to do it this way until we differentiate for a little bit, is we've only done it this way, and to say the same weight that I was doing double green, I'm probably gonna do single orange, right? I'm gonna grab it as high as I can, pull it down to my chest. I'm gonna step back a little bit. I'm still looking at the angle of the shin and the hip, or the shin and the torso. I'm going down. I'm focusing on landing low, and I'm trying to get to 90 degrees. That's my goal, right? I'm still coaching first, hey, just worry about getting low before I start coaching about heels up. I worry about the depth of the hip before I worry about the height of the heel, right? I always want to worry about that first because I want to load that joint in the hips, much bigger joint. Eventually the ankle is going to take care of itself. What do you think?
Starting off with that one though, you tell them, hey, pull it down, anchor it here,
Yep,
lock in.
yep, exactly. So you don't want to be here and then here.
Yeah,
you want to keep it down here. That way you support it the whole time. Let them back up a little bit. And if you get somebody that's jumping all the way up there, then we got a problem. We gotta have to put them down on the lower band or something, right? But this is important. You don't want to have it here because it's not gonna help you at all. Reach up as high as you can and as tall as you are, and then pull down. Except for somebody like Joe Hellinger, which is 6'7", you're gonna probably start him. Hey, just keep your elbows a little bit bent and go down. Otherwise, you're gonna touch that with his head, right? Questions on that? No. All right. So now we got stationary baby hops. So basically, is the same hop. We call it baby hop because it's not on the rack, but it's the same idea, right? There's just a naming difference in that. Double leg. So it's just the same movement we just did without the rack at this point. So it's an exercise within itself is just progressing itself. Any questions on that? The biggest thing is just be there if they're the first time doing it for spotting and balance, or just be close. The way I teach it is, like I said, you go up and down or you stay close to the wall and try. If you need to, keep your hands in front. Try to keep your chest forward without falling forward, right? And your wall's gonna be there to catch. Nobody should really fall backwards. So that shouldn't be a problem for the most part, but if you are afraid of it, maybe Tom, if you ever get to that point, you should probably always stay assisted somehow, right? Baby hops too, alternating forward and back. So this one would be, hold on, let me just look for, where am I? Okay, yeah. Like we talked about, right? Forward and back. Side to side, right? We're not massively bending our knees on this one. We're just trying to get them moving, but this time they're not supported anymore. And then you see double leg heels up. So at this point we start worrying about heels up. Oh no, my bad, I'm going to traveling, my bad. Side to side, stationary baby hop single leg. So then we're going from a forward and back, side to side, then we're gonna go into just single leg, right? The same thing, I'm dropping my hip, I'm trying to get my hip to drop low. Then we're gonna go traveling, double leg, heels down. So I'm going, let me go this way. I'm not worrying about their heels, right? I'm just worrying about them dropping their hips. Eventually we're gonna worry about their heels. Traveling with alternating heels down. So I'm going, but I'm still putting my heel down all the way down so I have a bigger base of support, right? Yep, I'm bigger base of support. From there I'm going single leg heels down, right? So I'm going forward, I'm traveling forward. But like I said, these are all progressions within itself, right? Double leg, heels up. So now I'm progressing to trying to keep my heels off the ground as I'm traveling forward. Same thing for alternating heels up and single leg heels up. Questions on that? All right, so then we're going to almost like a broad jump. Yep, so you're gonna go, we're not, and then just walk forward. Right? And that is, it's not necessarily an exercise we ever use, but if you want to teach a squat jump into a broad jump, you want to get them used to the momentum going forward, right? So it's more like, okay, so once you land, you're gonna walk forward, right? Because they're gonna probably fall forward when they go into a broad jump, right? Squat jumps, keep arms, this is when we start teaching keep arms stiff, right? So going down, up. The way I think about it is I anchor my hands to how my legs are. So when my legs are straight up, my arms are straight up. Where my legs are bent, my arms are down, right? So I anchor this to this position first. People get confused, right? So if I need to, I'll take the hands out of it. I'll just work on this if I need to. Obviously, I'm done with the baby hops or assisted version, right? From here, hands up, hands down, hands up, and the same thing, hips straight, hips bent, hips straight, right? We can do continuous or we can do one stop, reset, one stop, reset. The one stop reset is actually harder, but it could be a regression to make sure somebody doesn't have coordination can understand, right? Does that make sense for everybody? We're still looking for depth here. So within the exercise itself, you're trying to progress the depth of how low you're getting with your hips. We sometimes don't teach squat jumps first before we teach a box jump because it's softer to land in a box. So you see how the box jump is like down? We might use a box jump as a regression just because Joe Hellinger can't do a squat jump. It hurts his knees too much. He has meniscus tears. But landing in a box doesn't hurt him. So we're always going to try to land in a box, right? So it just depends on when you want to use it. Let's see. Skater jumps. So we're going to go laterally this time. So basically you're progressing from a alternating baby hop, right? So now we're going sideways and we're trying to anchor that foot. If you need to, I'm gonna use this toe to stop myself, right? This toe to stop myself. So this would be a regression just for balance. And then my goal would eventually be to go out and try to balance for a second, hit the mark, stick the landing, and then push away, right? Questions on that? A lot of people let their chest fall forward, right? So you'll see, if you look at me from the side, you'll see, right? And they'll lose their balance, right? Just be aware of that. Be aware of that and try to coach them up on keeping your hips down, not your chest down. Near to wide squats. Go ahead, take it, Claire. Let me see it. What's up? Yep, exactly. Let me.
So narrow, I would say inside shoulder width apart. And then I would just drop my hips, extend all the way between each one to a wide.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Very good. Yeah. Ooh, baby.
To a wide, just like you would a normal squat
Yep.
almost. Stay light on the heels, and then just same thing, back and forth, getting my hips down as
Yep.
low, just like any other jump.
So how do we regress the exercise within itself on that? How do I make it easier for somebody else to understand it? What could you work? Like, there's so many things
Using
here.
equipment, not using equipment. Like
Up to you.
assisting.
You tell me.
You could just go back
Assist
to the
it,
rack.
right? Yeah,
Assist
for
it.
sure. Other ways. Give me like 5 different ways you could do it. Yeah, exactly. Just throw. I mean, I'm not saying there's 5 different ways. I'm just trying to come up with as many ways as possible. Narrow to wide.
Squat jump. I would say assisted.
Good.
Either rocker right in front of the wall. Breaking the exercise down.
Good. Depth. Just don't go as low. Heels down. Just don't keep your heels up. Right. That's 3 already.
Are you saying a pad?
What's up?
Heather?
To an object.
2 and a.
Oh, a mat?
What do you mean a mat?
Control, like, a lot of times people like change their pattern of their feet a lot. So like,
Give them targets to hit.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
like on the mat, outside the mat.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a good one, right? I didn't think about that. That's what I'm saying. There's so many different ways, right, within itself to how to progress and regress people. It just depends on what they're lacking, right? And there's no right answer.
Right.
I'm just saying, just be open to anything that you can fix a
Coming up,
toolbox.
Not focusing on the hips being low at first.
That's exactly right. That's what I said. Stay up, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And the other one is keeping your heels out on the ground,
Yeah.
right? That we have a bigger base of support to land on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's 4. Let me think. Anything else? You could do it band assisted. You could do it, let me think, anything else? No, I mean, I think we covered almost everything. The main thing you're looking for?
If they're there, then, and they need that many regression skills, they probably shouldn't be there.
Exactly, right? So what would I regress it to? A squat jump assisted.
Yeah.
Or, right? Not going narrow and wide. The thing is, a lot of times too, though, you want to regress it for that person because it could be somebody that is really hard at understanding things. And they unfortunately don't get the coordination. That's all it
Then
is.
I would say, okay, let's start off 3 narrow jumps.
Exactly.
3
You can even
wide,
break it down like that.
go 2.
Do 1 and only, and then the other side, right? 5 and 5, but don't do it alternating, right? So you can do it as easy as that, and then eventually alternate.
Yeah.
What are you looking for them not to do? Cave their knees in.
Right.
So they could be, yep, exactly. They could be jumping too wide to the point where they're caving their knees in. Keniera, what?
Would you put a band at that point?
Not necessarily. I would coach them up first.
Yeah.
I would coach him up first and then they can fix it. Kenyeta's a prime example of that. He was jumping too wide to the point where he was going here, and he's also caving in here, but then he's here. And then he's like, I'm like, no. Let's work on pushing your knees out to the sides and landing with your hips down, but knees wide. He's like, okay, and then he started doing it right? But all he needed to do is be reminded of that. So a lot of times you might not even need to switch it, regress it. See if there's a different way you can say it for him, right? Or her, whatever it is, right? Good. Hurdle jumps. So hurdle jumps, we have hurdles over there, but we also use PVC pipes. The good thing about PVC pipes is we have 3-inch adjustments, right? I'm gonna grab a PVC pipe. When you don't have equipment, you go PVC. If you don't want to grab the thing, sometimes they'll say it on the program, small hurdle, right? We can progress them from a small hurdle to a different height in between, but it has to be with a PVC.
Right.
Some people are only gonna learn from the ground first.
Yeah.
You gotta have.
More.
Yes, exactly. That's how she does it. Yep. And that's how she got taught, right? Now she's a little bit elevated. Yep. So hurdle jumps I'm doing is, I'm telling you this for people an obstacle in their way of getting jumped, they're always going to be afraid of tripping, whether it be a box or this. Your biggest thing is going to be the confidence in people. So you're trying to achieve small wins. That's all you got to do. And you gotta celebrate that with them after each set.
Yeah.
Hey, you see, that wasn't, because they're going to hate it. Almost everybody hates jumping, especially women that had babies too. It's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of moving. And anybody that's overweight is going to be having a hard time because they feel everything go up and down.
Yeah.
I forgot about talking about that before we started. Always be conscious of that and understand, hey, like, you have to treat him like a human, right? So you have to talk about it. Hey, like, I understand, like, let's try a little bit more. Maybe just don't go as hard landing. Like, let's just stay a little bit higher. That way it's not moving that much. Or, hey, why don't you do it here? I'm gonna have one hand on here and just jump over and support yourself. Or, like, I like to keep it human. I'm gonna be right next to you. You can hold my hand if you want. If not, I'm gonna be right here spotting you. But if you say those words, they'll be a lot more likely to do it. And that's the catering power value part. They'll respect you for being there, understanding that without saying them, I'm scared, you know that they're awkward about it. And you're taking initiative to make them feel less awkward about it, right? Okay, hurdle jumps. So I'm gonna start a little bit higher. At this point, you don't know if they've been taught, you should have been taught a squat jump, but in a squat jump, you don't always have to have your hands correct. So I'm gonna re-emphasize hands up when your body's straight, hands down when my body's bent, and then hands up when you're about to take off. And landing with my hands bent, my hands down, right? So I'm gonna put this over here. So I'm gonna go up, down, up, and I wanna land softly. That's my main goal. So before we got to this height, I should have already heard him land softly, right? If I don't hear them land softly, they're probably not ready to go up yet. If they're not landing softly ever and whenever, it's up to you if you think you can put it up. Somebody in their 70s, I probably won't necessarily go up. I'll have them focus more on landing softly and keep them the height. If it's somebody in their 20s, 30s, I probably, if no injuries in their knees or hips or back, go for it, right? Questions on hurdle jumps? There's two variations, meaning like you can just have them turn around and face forward, or some people just like to walk back around and do it again, right? So it depends. If you are setting up the hurdles over there, so there's hurdles and then they have two ends, right? You always want to be facing, well, not always, but if you trip, you want to be facing forward so the hurdles just pop forward. If it's the other way, it's going to be a little bit harder of a trip, right? So yeah, questions on that at all? No? Broad jumps. So now we've done some of the squat jumps. I start broad jumps very minimally. Once again, hands matter the most, right? Body straight, hands are up, body's bent, hands are down. I'm gonna take off, I'm gonna shoot my hands up and then land with my hands low. In broad jump case, I might even land with my hands extended in front of me, right? So up, down, and I'm just landing here for now, right? I'm getting them used to moving forward before I increase that distance. And some people might not even increase that distance. Like, who's doing broad jumps right now in their program, Heather? I just saw it the other day. Anybody have anybody with broad jumps this week? I just saw it the other day. I forgot who it was. But they were just focusing on getting forward. And this is a broad jump. Maybe you know who it was? It was Bobby. I think Bobby has broad jumps in her work, right? Knee problems, back problems. She's never done anything like this before. I just wanted her to move forward. That's it. I mean, she doesn't have to be athletic to move 6 feet, but that's great. She can land safely. She can now bring that in real life. Hey, you're not gonna trip over objects. That's great. You have enough power to build. We're building power slowly. The biggest thing is confidence with anybody, right? Especially our age group. You just want to get them to feel like they can jump. I mean, we have Debbie Richel jumping. We have Tom. Tom at one point was jumping in the 70s. So that's great. He was jumping a 24-inch box jump. So that's solid, right? Okay, any questions on broad jumps? Remember, the hands matter the most in almost any of these lifts. If you don't get the hands right, it's gonna be really hard. Then again, it just depends, right? If you wanna make an exercise harder, get rid of the hands, right? Like if you're gonna do a box jump and make it all lower body power, cross your arms, keep it here, and just get, right? And then just base it on lower body power, right? It just depends on what you wanna achieve out of that. Box jumps, a little bit harder to think about, I feel like, for some people. Let's go low and high, right? The first thing I try to teach people when they're going box jumps, hand position, obviously we just went over it, but it's also not just landing right at the edge. I want him to land into the middle of the box, right? It just gives him, it's gonna give me more confidence that they can actually do the lift I'm requiring them to do. As we get higher and higher, if they land at the edge, they might go backwards. I'd rather them always trip forward and land with their hands, right? If they trip backwards, I can't do anything to save them. Yeah. Nothing at all. They trip forward, at least it's just soft and it's gonna land on them. So if anybody ever wants to trip, that way. So what I'm always spotting is I'm spotting here whenever I'm teaching somebody. Like Arun has done this a lot of times. Not a lot of times, he's done it on a program already, so 6 times before he did it again. Arun, I'm always scared. Let me show you from the side. Arun, I'm always scared. He's this close. I'm always scared he's gonna push here, right? So I'm always behind him because I want to help him fall backwards. But if he falls forward and I go over how to bail, hey, if you fall forward, all you have to do is land on your knees and hands. People get scared, but I'm like, hey, I'd rather you know how to land than not know how to land, right? Same thing when I start getting people into a heavier back squat or heavier front squat, how do you bail out of it? I would always, if you never worked with them, ask him, have we ever taught you to bail out of this? No, okay, let's go over it today. You know what I mean? It's safe. It's a safe thing you want to do. Or have I ever taught you, if I'm spotting you, what happens if you need to bail out? Do not let go of the bar, right? I just want to make sure we emphasize that because I'm going to spot you. You let go, I'm going to get screwed. Right. So tell me, hey, I can't get up and I'll lift you. You have to hold on. But if you're going to bail out and let go of that weight, I need you to tell me that you're going to let go of that weight so I can step back, right? That's fine if you're going to let go of that weight, but we need to communicate. And that's why I always say it's really important you communicate with everybody about what you're doing, what they should be doing, and that way everybody's on the same page. Don't assume anybody knows anything, especially if it's your first time taking that person for a long time, the new program, whatever it is, right? Okay, box jump. So hands are up when my body's extended. Hands are down when I'm about to jump. Some people take a couple of times to like get adjusted with this, right? Hands up, hands down, and I'm landing softly. So I'm always, the first thing I'm coaching is landing softly. As they get higher in height, you're probably gonna land hard. It's gonna be part of the process of getting higher. Nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, if I'm jumping 50 inches, I'm not gonna focus on landing softly. I'm gonna focus on making it. Right. So all my energy is going towards getting off the floor, right? Let's see. What have you guys seen on box jumps?
How much do we emphasize that landing as far as like straight legs or soft knees?
You give me, what would you do?
I was gonna say, obviously, like I think Jin Pop probably ideally start with a soft landing in the knees.
Absolutely.
Full absorption into it, but I guess into more of a power development, right?
Exactly. So it's
like Joe.
Yeah. Like, so Joe, because Joe's knees.
Okay.
That's, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. You have to take that into account.
Athletic guy like Joe.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like maybe a Nate. Nate's a big dude.
Good question.
But like getting him box jump could be one thing. If he can make a height, right, we stay lower, but emphasize a more vertical landing where he's not bringing his knees up in that jump to get to the height.
Right. Yeah, and so you're talking about like this.
But technically, if I can only get here, but now I go and jack my knees.
This is all.
I can get up to here. I went that far.
That's a great question. With more athletic people, I do the same thing you're just saying. Okay. Right. I focus more on less bending at the hip, right? So eventually, we started teaching this at one point, right? Right? That's what I started teaching because it shows that it's true power from the legs.
Power, like true displacement.
Yes, exactly.
That landing is harder.
How often do we see that? Very, very seldomly, right? Nate could get to that box, but I'll tell you that he's going to be pissed that he can't go higher because he can't more power. So what do you have to do? You have to buy him into it. Right? So as long as he can buy into it, we're great. But probably have to add that whole repertoire of exercises to our list. There's nothing wrong in you trying that the last week of his program. Right? If you feel like he's killing it, hey, all right, let's start going lower, but I want you not to bend your hip. The problem is it's going to be really hard to get him out of that because he's used to bending his hip now. So what we need to do at that point is probably make an exercise itself that is straight leg landing, right? A box jump. And that's what I'm saying. We can go into the weeds and everything. And I love it. I want to do that. It's just like we don't see it enough for me to build it, but I want to. That's the goal of building a lot of power stuff, right? Do you understand why that's harder?
The straight leg?
The straight leg. Yeah. Okay, perfect. That's basically like, what would you call the thing they used to test? The tester thing that we used to do?
Vertical jump.
Well,
but it is a vert. But
movement jump.
That's what it is.
Versus vertical jump.
Yes.
Counter movement jump is what he's talking about with using your arms in that full counter movement. But they just a straight vertical.
Yeah, it's just to go here and you measure your power off the pad. You usually measure how.
It's just verbiage.
Yeah, exactly.
Your force plates like in a performance setting. Right. Like you want true lower body power.
Yep. You take the arms out of it.
Yeah, take
yep.
the hands out of it.
The other thing you could do if you wanted to, you could try and get that guy Nate. What I would try to do before you do that, get rid of your hands.
Okay. Yeah,
get rid of the counter movement, right? It's going to be way more lower legs. You don't have to focus so much on the landing part, but hey, get rid of your arms. You see what happens, right? So there's, like I said, there's so many different ways. Whatever you do, put it on the thing. So that way next time the next person can do it, right? But we all have to be on the same page, right? As long as you try it. Questions on box jump? No? Good? Everybody feels pretty good about it? Have you had any issues with anybody doing box jump?
I haven't had anybody yet.
Great. Okay, great.
I've only had jumping from the box.
What about Jamie? Yesterday, no? She didn't have box jumps yesterday? Jamie and Ken? No? Oh, shit. Ken does. He did, but not anymore.
No.
Yeah, he did. You're right. He did just last set. Okay, so let's go ankle hops. So ankle hops, the biggest thing about ankle hops is you're trying not to move your knee.
Right.
It's very difficult for most people to do right? So ankle hops will ultimately look like this, right? My legs are locked out. I'm moving through my ankle. My ankle is nice and stiff. I'm actually not moving through my ankle. My ankle is so stiff that I'm bouncing back and forth, right? We have to regress that a little bit, right? So this would be an ankle hop too, just a slight bend in the knee, right? It just depends on what people can do. I can't regress that further, otherwise it's gonna be a squat jump, right? So that's what I want to get people to do. A slight bend in the knee is okay. We do have that a lot in our warm-ups. I want to get people, so people already have stiff ankles, but for the point of performance, I want to be able to have stiff ankles. The point of mobility, I don't want to have stiff ankles, right? We want to have most balance, right? Life is balance. So how can we develop balance for people, right? That's the goal. Questions on ankle hops? No? All right, lateral jump continuous. So we're going in one line all the way out. Yep, exactly, basically, yeah, exactly. That's a good way to call it, actually. I never thought about that. Any questions on that? Just land softly. Both knees should land at the same time. It'll look really, most people might have a problem of like, right? They'll take off in one leg, try to get them to slow down and throw double leg. Even if you have to go a smaller movement, right? Just trying to get them to understand what double leg looks like. It's the same thing when people doing box jumps. They get ready, they take a little step, go. I don't necessarily call them out on that until I have to, if I'm focusing on other things, right? Ken does that. Ken does that and he doesn't know he does it, and I battle him on it, and I had to film him to show him. It's okay to grab your phone or an iPad, film somebody if they need to be seeing what they're doing because they don't think that they're doing what you're saying they're doing, right? That's gonna be the next step. I use my phone a lot to show people what they're doing, and I slow it down for them, right? I don't think that's a problem for anybody here to do. I highly encourage it if you're having one-on-one and one-on-two. You have time in a one-on-four, go for it. If you're obviously overcrowded, you can't do it yet, that's fine. You might be able to get the other coach to film it for you. If they're not busy, that's great. Go for it, right? Skater jumps into lunge. I'm going here, down, here, down, right? So I'm adding kind of like a lunge as I'm taking off, right? The lower you go, the harder it's gonna be, right? I wanna emphasize landing with this leg as much as I can and then down, right? Try not to land with both legs and then down. You wanna land with the outside leg like a skater jump and then push it back down to a lunge to make it harder. Just more, the reason why it's so low is not necessarily harder, it's just a lot more coordination for people, right? So it's just, a lot of these are, the reason why they're down there is because it's too much to think about for most people. Lateral hop to forward hop. So more athletic movement, you're going here, right? So it's lateral forward, each side. We've only done this with one person, that's Paul, right? Lateral hurdle jumps, same thing, we're gonna add this here. It's all in the counter arm movement. I'm landing softly, up, down, up, down, up, right? Then you have also, we do another one that is called, on the Train Heroic, it's called lateral continuous hurdle jump. So at that point it would be, right, back and forth, right, with a hurdle. I wouldn't get into I would start getting to a little bit of lower squat, but your whole goal is to get back and forth fast, right? We got some time, we're good. Okay, so lateral hurdle hop. Oh yeah, so here, once again, we have a lot of people like Paul, Kyle K, Kyle T, how many other people do it? Not a lot of people do it, but you have your skater lunge, or skater jump. You're adding a rotation to it, right, with the ball. So you're kind of like counter-loading yourself prior to jumping, okay? The biggest thing is if you have the bottom half where you're sticking your landing, you have to already stick your landing. If not, get rid of the ball, try to get them stick their landing before they're starting to think about rotation. Once they're stick their landing, try to rotate without the ball, but the ball is actually going to be easier because a little bit of weight without the ball actually makes it harder because it throws your whole body off, right? Okay, so lateral box jumps, same thing as the hurdle, up, down, land soft in a half squat if you can, right? Obviously if we're going for power, right? But for now, the hands matter the most. It's really hard to teach people hands. 180s, we're going up and coming back the same way I came in, right? Yeah. You can do circles. I think people get dizzy. I'd rather go each alternating, right? If somebody can do 180, how do we regress it? 90. Yes, right? 99, 845, whatever you need to do to reduce the distance. All you're trying to make it do is be more comfortable with the exercise and eventually maybe get to that point, right? But there's always regressions for everything. Tuck jumps, same thing as a squat jump. All you're doing is tucking your knees in, right? You can also reset and then go again, right? Take your legs up, reset, and go again. Soft landing. What I don't want to hear is, that's going to hurt my back and hurt my back, right? And then we got kneeling jumps. Going to be here, right? I'm going to be kneeling, hips, then back down. That's going to be a hard landing. But I'm in a half bend position, so I'm never, the reason why it can be a hard landing is because I'm not going to hurt my back no matter what, right? Everybody feel like that? It's good?